What can you learn from other personality types that are the complete opposite of yours? Recently, I was invited to be a trainer as an INFP to a group of 4 Japanese ESTJ women. I learned 5 incredible life lessons that I'm going to take forward with me as a reminder of myself, my skills, my strengths, but also the struggles that I have and the struggles that everybody has universally. So the first lesson was that we all struggle with our inferior function. So to break that down a little bit, in case you are new or newer to personality type, there are 8 cognitive functions that combine together to make your Myers-Briggs type. So INFP or ESTJ, right? That is an emergent of these 8 different cognitive functions, which are preferences for how you perceive the world and how you make decisions. Introverted feeling is the dominant function for INFPs. So it's the main preference. It's like the lens that we see the world through the most. Or as I call it, it's like the protagonist of our life's story or the leader of our questing party. Okay, is that enough analogies? So for INFPs, it's introverted feeling. Feeling is a way of making judgments, making decisions based off values and the human impact. And it's introverted. So it's going inward and saying, how does this resonate with me? Does this fit me? Do I like this? Do I dislike this? What does my conscience say about this? And I call this as a character, the soul. So INFPs lead with the soul. ESTJs lead with the mirror opposite of that. The mirror opposite of that is extroverted thinking, what I call the strategizing commander. And this is extroverted thinking. Extroverted thinking is another way of making decisions, but instead of being about what's going on internally in this kind of soft, squishy space, it's looking at objectives in the external world, looking at measurements, saying, what can I do to get things done in the way that I want? And it's looking at measurements, ROI, it's delegating tasks, it's marshaling resources to get things done. And it's not focused on the feeling component, just like the soul, introverted feeling, is not focused on getting things done by following objective logic and rules. So no matter your personality type, this is a struggle. And it was just a great reminder that what I see as a strength for me is seen as an inferiority complex, a weakness for other people. And my struggles too with extroverted thinking as an INFP, my inability to get things done, my being distracted by all these things and not actually creating systems that I can repeat and templatize to get things done more efficiently and effectively. That's a weakness for me, but that's a strength for somebody else. And that realization really emphasized that we all need to focus on our inferior function a bit, not fully, not like this is the only thing in my life, because if your energy all goes to your inferior function, then you're not really living into your strengths, right? Emotional maintenance for ESTJs is extremely important. Just like for INFPs, checking things off a list, getting things done, setting goals, and approaching those consistently is really important. And I used the analogy that it's kind of like taking a shower, right? You don't just take it once and then, 3 months from now, you're like, well, I took a shower before, and so everything should be fine. You do it every day. And when I was explaining that to one of the ESTJs, I was like, introverted feeling, you need to go into that emotional space. You need to do self-reflection and emotional processing every day, like taking a shower. And instantly, they just all got shivers. They're like, I don't want to be there. That's not a place that I want to be. And for INFPs, it's the same with extroverted thinking, with the commander. It's like, this character drives me nuts, but I know that I need to deal with it. So for both of us, treat our inferior function as something that we need to maintain regularly and consistently. And another thing was, during the session, I recognized that we all have a struggle appreciating and recognizing our strengths, because it is so common and natural to us. It's just something that we do. For INFP, it's like trying to figure out how I feel about this thing and weighing things and, you know, going into what makes that person who they are and trying to understand their intentions and values and life as them is something that just naturally happens. And for ESTJs, when I was talking about resource management and delegating tasks and effectiveness, efficiency, they didn't really see it as a superpower. Sometimes they're like, yeah, it's good to, get things done, push the enter key and, go, be decisive. But, am I really that good at it? I don't know. And it was clear that they all are. And it's just fascinating that we often overlook our dominant strengths, whether it's something that we've intentionally developed or part of our personality type that has kind of naturally happened, but also it's something that we like, so we put more time and energy and focus into. It's important to recognize your strengths and to appreciate your strengths. And sometimes that has to come from outside, from some other person's compliment or comment or an assessment and a lot of self-reflection. So for INFPs, make sure that you learn to appreciate the squishy aspect of yourself. I used to try to be a robot. I used to try to shut off all my emotions, all my feelings, just not feel anything because it would hurt me, it would hurt somebody else, and the world was better off if I didn't feel. And that was a very difficult facade to hold up, trying to be the rogue in all circumstances, hiding out in the corner, just waiting for the perfect time to strike, not letting anybody into my circle. When I changed my identity and perceived myself as a healer, everything changed in my life because I was able to recognize my strengths. I was able to appreciate the things that I bring to the world, the things that you bring to the world that you are not naturally leaning into with intention and passion. So allow yourself to be squishy. And it is a vulnerable space. I understand that. It's going to hurt sometimes. But also, you generate more love and appreciation and mana and the ability to heal yourself and more people by leaning into your strengths instead of fighting them. For ESTJs too, be proud of your ability to get things done and to delegate tasks and say, no, you are good at this thing. You should be doing this thing. That's a superpower that most other people don't have. And another one was within the session, we were talking about emotional processing. And one of the ESTJs mentioned that she does bunseki with herself. So what that is like, it's parts work. It's saying, well, part of me is angry and irritated right now. Why is that happening? And distancing herself from that and analyzing it. And within that, it reminded me of the importance of something that I teach all the time to INFPs, whether they're coaching clients or within the INFP masterclass, and on this channel too, is that there are many techniques that will help you distance yourself from the things that are causing you issues and giving you a different perspective on it, a third person perspective, a second person perspective. So one of the biggest things that I was saying to her was that treating it as another human being and asking, what is your intention right now? Why is this happening? What do you want from me? Why are you here? I'm irritated, and treat it like a normal person, maybe even like a child, depending on where that part is within your stack, potentially. Your 4 different cognitive functions. And getting to know that part of yourself is extremely powerful for anybody. Emotional management is a game changer for any personality type, not just for INFPs, not just for ESTJs, but the ability to understand that you are full of different personalities. And there's been research that these different parts show different allergies, different eyesight, sometimes, not all the time, of course, different memories. They have clicks and connections to other parts. Sometimes they feud, some know other parts, some don't even know other parts. And this is not dissociative identity disorder, multiple personalities. This is something that we all do. I'm sure you've been driving somewhere and you get there and you're like, I don't even remember the drive. How did I get here? that was a different part that was driving. That's all it is. And when you talk to your partner, that's one part that's likely activated. If you're talking to a police officer, you're probably on a different part. You're logged on to a different part. So these emotional management techniques, whether it's parts work, whether it's emotional freedom technique tapping, um, dissociation intentionally, or association, these are all things that all personality types need and use. And it was great to hear it come from an ESTJ. Like, you found it out. You've unlocked it. That's awesome. I get the same feeling when I talk to other INFPs who are like, I have a schedule and I follow my schedule. It's like, bro, you're awesome. Congratulations. Because you've unlocked another level of self-development. And through the conversation, I also noticed that there are two different views of emotional resilience. And so ESTJs will shut off the emotions. They will go full force, continue to do the thing that they want, lean into extroverted thinking, delegating tasks, getting things done, resource management, again, thinking. And then eventually, introverted feeling catches up. Eventually, they've done it so much and they're just like, I need to stop. Why is this happening? And that introverted feeling comes up. But INFPs will do the opposite side. We'll be so in our feelings, into our emotions, into what's important to us, that extroverted thinking is going to catch up too. Eventually, we're going to be like, I need to get my life in control. This is awful. I have not done the things that I wanted to do 10 years ago still. So the two forms of emotional resilience is the outer shell that is maintaining your emotional stability and resilience, right? Not letting things in, keeping emotions out, keeping them contained in whichever way that the wall works. That's really important too. You can't always just be absorbed in all these emotions and absorbing all these emotions. It's exhausting. But also the other side of emotional resilience is intentional emotional control and appreciation and consideration of how you feel and wanting to delve deeper. Like, I'm angry. Why am I angry? Oh, it's because somebody stepped on one of my values and that makes me angry. And below that, there's maybe a fear of being isolated or being strange, being outcast. So there are different levels and layers to emotions as well. So there's the emotional resilience that comes from deeply understanding yourself and being able to go to a deep, dark place and then bring yourself back out and feel good whenever you want. That emotional calisthenics is something that INFPs can do. Not all of us learn how to do it, but it's something that we can do, and we are very skilled at doing it when we put in the time and practice. But there's also that necessity for now is not the time to be in this emotional space. Maybe there's something important to do. Bringing emotions into that clouds it up and makes it likely unable to be finished. And the last one is one of the biggest challenges that the ESTJs mentioned was that there's this reluctance in emotional processing. As I mentioned before, they knew it was helpful. They tried to do a little bit, but also they just want to find ways around it. Like, I don't want to deal with this thing. And for all of us, our inferior function is like that. For INFPs, we're like, if I just know exactly what I want and who I want to become and who I am, then life will work out for me. Maybe, but there are other ways of making life work out for you so that you're able to do the things that you want to do and become the person that you want to become. But either way, consistent small steps are important. So for ESTJs, start with manageable emotional health practices, daily journaling. And I know just the sound of daily journaling for many ETJs is like, I don't want to do that. But it helps. Even if it's just writing down like a couple lines, or like, today I was happy face. that's okay too. Or using your phone and dictating just how you felt throughout the day. Like, what were the things going on? Say it to ChatGPT, and then get it to synthesize it for you and make some actionable plan out of it. For INFPs, it's about starting with simple extroverted thinking tasks. The night before or in the morning, list out what you want to get done in just 1, 2, or 3 different steps and enjoy checking them off the list. If the goal is too big, if you didn't complete the thing, then that just means you need to reassess it. Was the goal like something that I just couldn't do? Did I not have the time? Did I not have the energy? Did I not have the resources? If you assess it like that, you can find goals that actually are accomplishable that motivate you to continue doing more of that. So the 5 lessons were struggling with our inferior function, recognizing our strengths. Emotional management techniques are awesome for any personality type. There are 2 different views of emotional resilience, and consistent small steps will get you to where you want to be and help your psyche be balanced and you to wake up happy and motivated to make the impact in the world that you want to make. What was the biggest takeaway for you from this discussion or from other personality types that you can share with us and let us bring that into our life so that we can make things better? Hope to see you in the next video. Click it over here to learn more about ESTJ and INFP relationships, and I'll see you next time.